Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. In this video I'm making a gorgeous chili, or chili con carne. Hello, in this video I'm going to be making a chili. Some people call it chili con carne, a lot of people just call it chili. I'm using a selection of different slow cooking cuts of beef. I've got some shin, I've got a bit of rib, ox cheek and ox tail, and I've got an assortment of different chilies that are hopefully going to create a hot but also very fruity flavoured sauce, and I just think this is going to be fantastic, and I think you're going to really like this one. Now, if I had a large enough Dutch oven or cast iron to do this all in there, I would do, but I don't, so I'm using my cast iron pan or skillet to brown all the meat first, and then it's going to go in a saucepan. But I'll say, if you have a great big Dutch oven, just do the whole thing in there. So that's the short rib, and those other little bits in there are oxtail. What I'm doing here is I want to get a really nice brown caramelization going. That is all about the flavour. It's not about sealing in juices or anything like that. You're just creating extra flavour and a bit of colour. So those are brown. In goes the cheek. That's the cheek. That bit there. And that is shin. So of course, you don't have to do all of this. You could use any one bit. Just take your pick. But I thought I'd use a whole selection here to give you some ideas. So there's some onions going in. So why not use all that fond that the meat has left in the pan to sort of create extra flavour on the onions. And these are the peppers. So I've got some Romano and some sweet little peppers there. Getting those nice and charred. Cover those with cling film to let them sort of get sweaty so we can remove the skin. Those are chilies. So those are just the normal fresh chilies. That is an Ancho chili and a Habanero chili. The Habanero is a little one, and that is a fiery little sucker. So watch out for that. Basically what I want to do here is soften those because they're dried. And so I sort of use a bit of water in a pan, and when they're nice and soft, again in a bowl, bit of cling film on top, let them sweat for a little while. Now let's prepare the rest of the vegetables. A bit like a sofrito, or what the French would call a mirepoix. I've got some carrot and some celery and some garlic. The onion was already in the pot because we browned it. So I just peel those garlic cloves there, and I'm just going to chop them up roughly. However, it doesn't really matter. This thing's going to be stewing for a good few hours, so the garlic's just sort of going to melt. So here are the peppers, and use whatever selection of peppers you like. But these are the ones that I found. I thought they looked interesting and would look pretty cool in the video. So just sort of scraping off most of the char and the skin. Get that in your bin. Get rid of that. Take off the end bit and some of the seeds. But I'm not that fussy about this. I'm just going to really hack this up. I just want this to be kind of pulpy, if that's the word. Yeah, that's the word, pulpy. So into a bowl to wait on the side. Now let's do the same with the chilies. Now I recommend using gloves. I'm an idiot. Officially an idiot. So I rubbed my eye later and I really paid for it. So just scraping out some of the seeds and the membrane. That's where the heat is. Of that, I think that was a Birdseye chili, and I think that's a jalapeno. But when we buy chilies in the UK, it's pretty rubbish, really. We don't really know what we're doing. We just sort of buy what they have. Now that's the habanero. That is the feisty little fella. So I really should have worn gloves there, but there you go. And that's the ancho one, and that's actually just a lot milder. It's got a really lovely sort of fruity flavour to it. Really tasty. Anyway, get rid of those dangerously hot little bits there. And chop up the rest of that. So we've got a combination there of sort of really hot but really flavoursome bits of chilli that's going to really give this finished dish a beautiful flavour. I decided to use some ale there, but you could use whatever liquids you want. Just use water if you like. But some tomato went in, and I thought, well, should I just use a bit of the chilli? And I thought, nah, just whack it in. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And yeah, we'll just pop that in the pot. That's looking good, but I wanted it to be covered. So in with some water. This is going to take several hours on the stove. Now if you're using your Dutch oven, you can put a lid on, stick it in the oven. Oh yeah, I forgot to put the tomato paste or tomato puree in, so just I came back and I did that bit. So we've got a few hours to kill.
Let's make some tortilla chips, shall we? So if you've got like a spray oil, that's ideal for this, but I don't. So just drizzling some oil, brushing it on them, stack them up, cut them into some nice sort of wedgie shapes. Get your trusted baking tray out. Again, oil the tray. Present your tortillas, wedges on there. I put a little bit of paprika on there, pop them in the oven 10-15 minutes or so until they are, well, they look like that, nice and sort of crispy. Well, are they crispy? Yes. Well done. Right, salsa. Now this is a salsa fresco, meaning not cooked. So just took some cherry tomatoes, and again I'm just looking for sort of like a pulpy, chunky, pulpy texture. Chop that up. What I should have done here, I think, is put those in a sieve so let some of the excess liquid drain away, but I didn't, so I ended up with a slightly wetter salsa than I wanted. So you know, you can learn from my mistake there. And then just roughly chop up some onion. Say the full recipe will be on my website, unclemaxcookerylessons.com, and that'll be a link to that in the description. So there's another chili there. That's a mild one again. Just I am going to dice that up. So we did some slices like that, got rid of the seeds, and chopped it up into some nice fine bits. Now to make this salsa a little fresh and delicious, there's some mint leaves there which you just sort of stack on top of each other, roll them up into a shape like that, and this is a fancy French name, it's called chiffonade, but basically it's just shredded mint. That's nice. Get that in there. And if coriander was allowed in my house, this would be coriander, but it's not, because my lady won't allow it. It's the devil's lettuce. So that was parsley, but you know, by all means use coriander. Fresh lime, salt, pepper, and a little bit of olive oil, and that is a really lovely salsa ready. Okay, 3 hours later, that's the cheek. That's that's the shin sort of fallen apart. There's the bone bit, and there's the rest of the bits of shin, and that's the rib. Yep, there we go, and that's the last bit of the shin. Get that out, and then we've got to sort of rummage through there and find all the little bits of oxtail. Yeah, and all the meat is beautifully tender. This could divide the room. Do you put beans in a chili or not? I do, but you know, you don't have to. Those are already tinned, like cooked beans, so they just went in there. That's back on the stove. That's going to simmer away for however long it takes me to get this meat ready. So that's the bone of the rib out. There was a bit of membrane there which I got rid of, but you can see, well, here you go, look. Oh, is it tender, Uncle Matt? Yeah, it's really tender. It's gorgeous. There's a bit for me. You're the cook, you're allowed to have a bit, but try not to have too much, otherwise you end up looking like me. And just shred that with a couple of forks. Oh, fans of marrow will be licking their lips at that bit. That's the marrow bone from the inside of the bone. Beautiful stuff. And so just make sure you've got as much of the sort of bits of sinew out of there as you can. Back into the braising liquid there with the beans and the onions and all the stuff. Have a taste, because we're going to now adjust this seasoning with salt and pepper to your tasting, and let that simmer for another 10 minutes or so. So finishing off, bit of parsley at the end, give that a stir. That's lovely. We're going to serve this out on some plain boiled rice. It's looking gorgeous. A few accoutrements to go with this, so some more of that fake coriander. That's guacamole. Those are the tortilla chips, some sour cream and some salsa, and it's over to me for the tasting.
How was this chili? A bit of lime juice just to finish it off. Now, I thought when I put the chili in, I might have put a bit too much. I got away with it. Absolutely fantastic. But obviously you can always exercise a bit of restraint, put a bit less in. You can always add more chili later. But this is absolutely lovely. That is a beautiful bowl of chili. Definitely have a go at that. I think you'll really like it. Thank you very much for watching Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. Everyone that's here, I really appreciate you. If you can take the time, at least at the very, very least, just to press that thumbs up to say that YouTube that you like this video. It will hopefully give them the message to suggest it to some more people who might also like it. So thank you very, very much for that. We'll catch you in the next video coming pretty soon. Bye.